Vijay Sharma ji, welcome to the Chandigarh Lalit Kala Academy and to our show. Vijay Sharma is a leading and pioneering miniature artist who is also a Padam Shri, and he is best known for not only as a painter but also as a revivalist, one who is reviving the beautiful and old art of Pahari painting. And not only is he limiting it to the state of Himachal Pradesh, but also taking the endeavor all over the country by working with students, by working with NGOs, by working with different academies and cultural organizations, and taking Pahari painting to a brand new level, and bringing back the many old traditions associated with Pahari painting. Welcome, Vijay ji. You tell us in your own words about, of course, Pahari painting, how you got into the art, and also the support that you receive from your teachers and patrons, and a little about Pahari painting.
Well, Pahari miniature painting is a visual art that flourished in the hill states of northwestern Himalaya.
Ji.
From Jammu to Garhwal region, and most of the old hill states were having courts where painters were actively working for the hilly rulers. And this art flourished in the hills from 17th to 19th centuries.
Okay.
And
it was more of royal patronage which these
yes.
artists got? Okay.
See, in our Indian tradition, there had been court painters and court musicians, right, and court poets in every leading darbar.
Ji, ji, ji.
So that was Rajput Sanskriti kind of thing.
Right.
So there were court painters in the hills. In fact, it was the Mughal rule when Akbar was the emperor in Mughal emperor.
Ji.
That time, the last decade of his regime, the imperial kingdom was at Lahore.
Okay. Okay.
So when Jahangir shifted after Akbar's death, the court back to Agra, he retained only the accomplished painter in his employ.
Okay.
So at that time, that was the first movement of painters from plains to the hills.
Okay.
And they were seeking patronage at the hill courts, and perhaps that was the first migration of artists in the hills.
Okay, interesting.
And under the sustained patronage extended lavishly by Pahari rulers, these painters from Mughal court, they were very much fascinated with the beauty of hills and the Hindu subjects. So they did completely in a new style,
okay,
which is known as early Pahari style.
Okay.
And Basoli was the Basoli, Chamba and Nurpur. These centers are known as the earliest centers of Pahari painting.
Okay, so these are centers basically.
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. And where does the word, how does the word Pahari miniature fit? Where did this tradition come from, the Pahari miniature?
Pahari is a generic term for the mountain,
right,
something belonging to the mountains.
Right, right, right.
I think the early 17th century, it was the period when painters migrated to the hills, and then they started working for local rulers, and after 2 or 3 generations, their style underwent a great change,
okay, and
there was no more Mughalish kind of influence,
okay, okay,
but this art form evolved a new style that is known as Pahari painting.
Acha, okay, okay. And if you were to talk about the subjects of Pahari miniature painting, starting from then and till now, and also a little about the technique, because you are a researcher and a writer, and you have researched a lot.
In fact, we have 2 main streams of miniature painting in Indian tradition, Mughal and Rajput.
Okay.
Mughal painting that flourished under the patronage of Mughal emperors,
right,
and Rajput painting that flourished under the patronage of Rajput chiefs in Rajasthan, in central India
Ji.
and in hills.
Ji.
Even then, Rajput is a collective name for the art which have very diverse subjects other than different than Mughal subjects.
Okay.
In Mughal painting, we find court scenes and portraiture and some other subject. But although Mughal also gave emphasis to the reproductions of Mahabharata and Ramayana, Rajamnama, etc. But their chief interest was for portraiture and the grandeur of Darbar and hunting scene also. Like Pasha Nama or Jahangir Nama, Babur Nama, this kind of subject they preferred.
Okay.
On the other hand, Mughal Rajput painting, we find that the narratives of mythological text and above all, the major subject which was preferred by the Rajput rulers, that was romantic poetry, both in Sanskrit and in Hindi literature. In Rajput, when I use the term Rajput, it means painting in Rajasthan and in the hills. So in Rajput painting, we find that apart from the mythological stories, a great deal of paintings were executed on the subject like Geet Govind and Amruk Shatkam and Rasmanjari, Ragamala, Bhanu, this Keshav Das Rasik Priya, Bihari Satsai, and some more Hindi poets.
Okay. And so it all flowed into the art also.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And Vijay, how did your journey with or your associations? It's been a long association with Pahari miniature painting. Tell us a little about what drew you to this art and who were your teachers and your inspirations and your journey from there to now.
I was born in Chamba.
Ji.
And my schooling happened there in local schools. And there is one century-old museum, Bhuri Singh Museum at Chamba, where I quite often used to go during my childhood. And I was too much fascinated with the miniatures displayed in the galleries. Their colors were so dazzling and clear that those paintings attracted me. And when I inquired about those paintings, I was told that these were the products of local painters. They did these paintings for the Maharajas some 2 centuries ago, but they were looking so mint fresh. So then I inquired that who were the painters. Then I was told that the painters, members of those painter families still exist in Chamba. But sadly, nobody was practicing this tradition because with the decline of royal patronage, most of the painters, they prefer to do some other work as a profession to earn their livelihood. So this great art had completely been languished from the hills. So when I was studying in school in 10th class, then although I was from the very beginning, I was interested in various kind of painting like watercolor, oil portrait in oil, and some landscaping, etc. But somehow I was still very much interested in miniatures. I used to go to some temples there in Chamba where there were some splendid paintings done on the walls, and I used to copy them. But since I was not much aware with the
technique,
method and material, so the director of Chamba Museum, Dr. V.C. Ohri, he told to my father that there is a great master from the traditional Mughal painter family in Banaras. So we wrote to him a letter that we want to learn this art. He invited me in Banaras in 78. And I was small boy at that time, but I had great desire to learn this art. My father took me to Banaras. There was one artist working at Kala Bhavan. His name was Ustad Sharda Prasad. He was a very gifted artist working in various styles, Mughal, Pahari, Rajasthani, Dakkini. So he was very much impressed with my interest and junoon. So but since I was very young boy that time, so he told me, you come after some time and you would be grown. But sadly he died after 1 year.
Oh.
But he told me, he shared with me the secrets of pigments, how to prepare pigments.
Okay.
And one thing which he told me was to practice this art.
Okay.
He told me that this color and material is secondary thing. The main thing is to practice how to control brush. So I went on practicing on my own. Since he told me something to how to start with, but I went on working on my own, and with the course of time I felt that some changes are coming in my style. And Dr. V.C. Ohri, who was curator of Shimla Museum also, he was also from Chamba. Whenever he come to Chamba, I show him my paintings, and he give me useful tips to keep in mind while making paintings. So gradually I went on doing this art, and I felt that my working style is improving year by year. So thereafter I went to Rajasthan. I visited many artists there, some old painters, and they were very generous. Vedpal Bannu and Ram Gopal Vijayvargiya ji and Badrilal ji of Bhilwada, they were all very great masters, and they told me everything which was coming into my inquisitive mind. So after getting information from these masters, again then I was working in the museum also. I used to see the paintings carefully in the galleries and try to make copies of them. So gradually somehow I improved my work, and at that time this art has completely been vanished from the hills. But I start imparting training to some young pupils. Himachal Art and Culture Academy, they started one scheme, Guru Shish Parampara. They made me guru to teach paintings technique to some young students. So I started with 4 students. Thereafter the number of students increased year by year. So now I am satisfied that more than 30-40 people in Himachal, they are practicing this art. And apart that, many people come every year from foreign countries. Some Fulbright fellowship students, they come. So
to learn the
yes.
Okay.
And now in Kangra there is one Kangra Art Promotion Society. In Basoli there is one Vishwasthali NGO that is playing a pivotal role in reviving this miniature painting. And I also started one NGO in Chamba, Shilp Parshan. I am spearheading that NGO. And in Chamba, some young boys are working in my studio today. And they all are earning their livelihood out of this art.
And I think your NGO also supports embroiderers apart from the miniature painting.
Because the art of Chambarumal embroidery is closely associated with the miniature painting. In fact, that is Chambarumal is the happy blend of painting and embroidery. So painter used to drawing on the textile, and then woman embroidery, fill the thread. But painting part is very important for the rumal. So in Chamba, some very talented young girls are engaged today making Chamba rumal, and they constantly prepare and sell these products to Delhi Craft Council. Delhi Craft Council had opened one training cum production center in Chamba, and they made me their consultant for this design purpose. So these young girls are also earning good livelihood out of this embroidery.
Vijay, looking at your journey, I feel that it was completely a one-man show. It was your passion, your hard work, your drive, you did not go to any formal art school but went to various masters to learn the technique. So there must be many hardships that you faced. And so what were the difficulties or what were the roadblocks that you faced? And I'm sure along the way there must be many people who inspired you, but also many who must have disappointed that you did not get the kind of support that you felt you deserved, and also doing it all alone. So what were the scheme of things and the sequence of events, which if you could talk about it in detail? Your you know, it's very tough that you have been solely responsible for reviving an art form which was so well established, and then just suddenly it vanished.
My journey in the field of art was not so easy. Because my father was a bus driver in Himachal Transport. In fact, I am self-prepared person. I did my matriculation as private, and when I was still studying, my father happened to give up the job due to his he had some problems physically. So he premature took retirement. So, and I was not that much old to get job in place of my father. When I became 18 years old, then I find job in the transport department in lieu of my father as painter, and I used to write on transport vehicles, Himachal government transport, etc. But before that, when I was not in job, I was a signboard painter, because there was no else to earn in the family. So I spent really very hardship during my childhood. I wanted to join art college somewhere, but the circumstances never permitted me. I think the path I traveled was not it was very difficult during my childhood. So, but even then, in these adverse conditions, I continued painting in any form, in pencil sketching or watercolor or oil painting or writing signboards, or even during election or wall writing. This kind of thing I did constantly. And portraits in oil painting, that I also did a lot during my early years. But I worked for 2 years in the transport department as painter. Thereafter I left that department and I joined language and culture department, Himachal Pradesh, where I started working as conservation assistant in archaeology. And there I worked for some 8 years. I used to go to the archaeological sites, making plans of temples and documenting artifacts in the field lying neglected there. But the director of culture department that time, he carefully looked at my talent, that this man could be more beneficial as artist than conservation assistant in archaeology. So he changed my designation from conservation assistant to artist. And he made me guru, and started this Guru Shishya Parampara, and allowed some young people to work together with me. That was the or turning point in my life, that I become artist. And for all these years, being an artist in the museum, I had been working with many young people. Many people come to in my office to work with me, and I teach them freely without charging anything, because although this scheme did not last for many years, the Guru Shishya Parampara, but I continued somehow on my own. So some students from Kangra and Chamba, they came to me and worked with me. They learnt the art of Pahari painting, and Then this Kangra Art Promotion Society was established in Kangra, and I was there. I was member of that society. Mr. B.K. Agarwal, he is a bureaucrat in Himachal. He took very serious interest in reviving of Kangra art, and this NGO is still working in Kangra, in Chamunda temple, where two of my students are the main painters, imparting training to every year to many young artists.
Okay, okay. So the main role of these NGOs, sir, is to impart training as well as do promotional activities for the miniature art Pahari.
Kangra Art Promotion Society, its base is in Kangra,
Acha ji.
and many influential people are associated with this NGO.
Okay, okay.
There are some 10 young boys working there. Every month they prepare some paintings,
Okay.
and these paintings are sold ahead
Okay.
in Delhi or somewhere else,
Okay. Okay.
duly mounted and framed
Okay.
with proper captions, etc.
Okay. Okay.
And with the cycling of that money,
Yes.
we are giving stipend to the students, and we are spending money for buying art material, framing, etc. So this NGO is apart from imparting training to the students, it is very well planned, working in a way to sell the products and again making more products.
Which is very important.
Very important.
To sell.
And I feel that there are people in the country who are really interested in miniature painting. They are fascinated with the beauty of these paintings, and they are prepared to buy good paintings, provided there is no compromise with the quality.
Absolutely. So how do you ensure that as a teacher and as a promoter and as a painter yourself, how have the subjects of Pahari miniature painting changed over the years? Do you also cater to a modern appreciator, art appreciator, or the technique of course would be the same, but how has the painting changed in your eyes, because you have seen it from there to now? So what are the changes you have observed in yourself also as an artist when you paint, when you see miniature painting, and when you cater to a foreign audience or a art appreciator?
Well, I believe that the people, especially the foreigners, they are well read about Indian art.
Okay. Okay.
Rather, they are the real connoisseurs of
Okay.
art.
Okay.
They understand better than Indians about the contents,
Okay.
the subject matter,
Okay.
because they are well read.
Right.
In India, we have some kind of emotional attachment with the arts,
You're right.
but our
Knowledge.
liking is just superficial.
बिल्कुल सही है.
We do not go deep in the studies of
Right.
any art form.
Right.
Kangra art flourished in Kangra.
Hmm.
Whenever I used to go to Kangra Valley in connection with my researches, then I used to ask people about this art. People are completely unaware of the qualities or the history or the content of these paintings. They know that these are expensive things, but what these things are, they do not know. So this compelled me to write book on Kangra art in Hindi,
Okay.
so that Hindi readers can read and appreciate these paintings.
Yes. Yes.
I feel that this painting activity, if this great art flourished in the hills, the most important factor was the royal patronage that Maharaja Sansar Chand of Kangra or the Rajas of Guler or some other places like Chamba, they extended to the painters. Actually, what happened that Pahari rulers were tributary to the Mughals,
Yes.
Every year they used to give huge sum to their overlords, the Mughal emperors. In the 18th century, when this Mughal empire declined after the death of Aurangzeb, there was anarchy in the Delhi. So this Mughal empire was completely declined, and Pahari rulers stopped paying this tribute to the Mughals.
Okay, okay.
So the amount they were paying to the Mughals, this bring sudden affluence to the hilly rulers, which enabled them to extend patronage to painters, to
Musicians.
artists, musicians, etc. And during this time, several temples dedicated to Krishna and Rama were erected,
Okay.
and some sculpture or wood carving or embroidery kind of things flourished in the hills. But this movement did not last more than 50 or 75 years.
Right.
Again, with the rise of this Maharaja Ranjit Singh of Sikh Maharaja, he occupied most of the areas from Punjab, and after the death of Sansar Chand of Kangra, the political situation was completely changed. So the sons of Maharaja Ranjit Sansar Chand, they fled to Garhwal, and there was so much ups and downs in the history, political history. So most of the painters who were working earlier for Maharaja Sansar Chand, most of them found refuge at Chamba or Jammu or even Lahore under the parasol of this Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
Anji.
So, but apparently this Sikh art flourished there at that time after the demise of Maharaja Sansar Chand. Again, after independence, there was no Maharaja anymore in India. Actually, classical music and miniature painting both were the court arts. After independence of India, classical music was taken as a subject, independent subject in the schools, in colleges, in universities, but nobody put attention towards this visual art,
Right.
miniature painting,
Right, right. So it's not
whether
a
Pahari
subject.
or
Okay.
Sikh or anything.
Okay.
So, although the history of miniature painting is one of the subjects only in theories,
Okay.
in universities, in
Okay.
MA classes,
Right.
but the as well as the
Practical.
practical aspect was completely ignored.
Okay, 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 okay.
If someone wants to learn the classical music today, there are scores of government
Yes.
institutions
Absolutely.
in the country.
Right.
Even there are certain universities dedicated to only music.
Yes, yes.
But on the other hand, if someone wants to learn the art of miniature painting, there is not a single institution in India, even today.
Okay.
This is such a paradox.
Yes.
That government agencies are spending lots of money for the publication of books of the bygone era, painting or other activity, but nobody is interested, so that there should be some institution where people can really learn this art of the yore. And I wonder that how this will possible, that some institutions somewhere in India where miniature painting is
Taught and
taught to the
supported.
students. On the other hand, in Pakistan, in Lahore Art College, miniature painting is one of the subjects for the MA classes,
Okay, okay.
but nobody is interested here. Actually, any art form, unless there is some royal patronage or patronage from the ruling people is there, no art form can flourish.
Yes, yes.
But this miniature painting, art of miniature painting has completely been ignored by the government, by the politicians. So somehow this is still languishing art.
Right, right. And this must be very disturbing for you, because You have set up NGOs, but do you get any government support for these NGOs or for the promotion of this art, or anything that gives you some hope?
As far as my own individual matter is concerned, since I have been traveled to foreign countries, USA and Europe and Singapore, so many people know me and they commission me to do works.
Okay.
But and my students are also earning their livelihood out of this making miniatures.
Right.
But they are doing only copying work. Whatever is published in the books, they are just reproducing them. It is good that tradition is, they are continuing the tradition, but this is not the ultimate thing.
No, no.
Because what I want personally, that there should be some new subject matters.
Okay.
New subject matters means, if by the way the Geet Govind is a popular subject of Radha Krishan romantic poetry, or the Naika Bhed subject, the classification of various Naikas.
Yes.
Even these subjects which preferred by the old masters can be taken by the contemporary painters, contemporary miniaturists in their own style,
Okay. Interesting.
imbibing technical aspects and
Colour
traditional
schemes.
conventions,
Haji, Haji.
but still there is scope. For instance, if a singer, classical singer, I quite often give example of classical music because it is easy to understand what I am
And
going
you're
to say.
a great patron
Yeah.
of classical music.
So,
also.
if a classical vocalist sings a bandish of his gharana,
Haji.
which was composed some 200-300 ago by stalwart of their gharana,
Ji.
they are not considered as a copy.
Completely.
That singer very proudly sing that bandish composition,
Ji.
that this belongs to our gharana. But on the other hand, if someone making copy of Geet Govind or Naika, he is just treated as he is just copyist.
True.
But I believe that if a painter can make good copy of, by the way, painter Nansukh, it apparently indicates that that painter has some qualities, technical skill as good as Nansukh had.
Absolutely.
And apart that, I feel that if a singer is singing old bandish, there is still scope of great improvisation.
Yes. Yes, there
Because
is.
composition is of 2-4 lines,
Yes.
but when he is singing Khayal Gaiki,
Yes.
so he use various kind of patterns which is not cannot be copied. Their artist has great scope to show his skill of
creativity.
alap or
Yes.
taan or
Yes.
this or that.
Yes.
Similarly, if some artist making copy of old painting, he can bring his individual individual impression in that painting.
Absolutely. It will be a
Or,
new work.
Yes, new work. But sometimes what happens that in case of music,
Ji.
some people today, in the name of
Fusion.
fusion, so there is less fusion but more confusion.
Absolutely.
So same is the case. I see many painters in Rajasthan who are doing some in the name of creativity,
Haji.
but they are doing some horrible things
Right.
in the name of creativity.
Right. Right.
So because there should be some feeling in the artist what miniature painting is. It is not the question of making fine line which is called pardaz. The fine line is the only thing. Miniature painting is a very typical thing. our art is based on line.
जी,
Line is the primary thing in miniature painting.
right,
If we are making a painting of Shringar Ras,
Right.
romantic painting,
right,
or we are making painting of Hasya Ras, comical sentiment, or we are making painting of Veer Ras, the heroic
Correct,
sentiment.
Yes, yes,
So, whatever is there, the flavor of that painting, we bring that with lines.
okay,
In our painting, we don't use light and shade,
no,
or we don't use models for our compositions. It is all imaginary. And in our painting process, we first draw line drawing with the brush, then we fill colors according to the
Setting.
composition
जी,
and
जी,
requirement,
जी,
and thereafter we finish the painting again with using fine lines.
right,
So line is very important factor in miniature painting.
okay,
But here there is some subtlety which painter must keep in their mind. In music, this using of these taan in sargam, there should be some balance in the singing.
right,
There should be all aspects involved. There should be involvement of all aspects like alap, bol, bant, and behlawe, and this sargam. So similarly, in miniature painting, color scheme has equal important factor equally, and this line and compositional arrangement.
that's
So many factors responsible to make a good painting.
right,
But since there is no grammar of any this miniature painting work, so painters are little bit confused when they are asked to do some new thing. What they do, they borrow some specimen from one painting. Maybe they take architecture from one painting, trees from the another painting, and water or decorative motifs taking from other painting, and that kind of khichdi thing they are doing
right,
in the
right.
name of new composition.
New compositions, okay.
So there is really painters are lacking bringing fresh or creative thing.
Okay, okay. So as a teacher, you ask your students to stick to tradition mostly, but use their creativity as well. So that there is
I
a
ask
blend.
them to do sketching first,
Okay, okay,
because by doing sketching they feel what they are copying.
yes, 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 yes.
For instance, a man is sleeping. I ask them to make sketch of this
Right,
this sleeping man,
yes,
but there should be difference in the line. A man is sleeping or a dead man lying. This should be clear by your sketching.
by your lines, okay.
Lines.
Okay. Interesting, okay, okay. And what about the colors? Every time you look at a miniature pahari or other miniature painting, the colors are absolutely fresh and bright. And so, what is the secret of these?
The colors used in the miniature painting are pigments,
Okay,
minerals and from vegetable extracts,
okay, okay,
and some metallic colors are there.
okay.
These mineral colors are also used in Ayurvedic medicines
Right,
and easily available in the Indian markets.
right, right.
The old pansari shop one can buy there,
Okay,
and thereafter there is a great deal of labor is involved in making pigments by grinding them and filtering them. There is long process for
okay,
different
okay.
pigments.
Which painters themselves do? Which or no, there are specific people who do this process. No, you do it yourself only.
Earlier I was doing myself. Now my
You have
students
some,
are
okay.
doing all this because this is important for them to learn the process how to pigments are
Right.
prepared.
Right.
But these pigments are really very fine and are prepared with very great labor.
Okay, okay.
So that's why this pigment has such a quality after passing 200 or 300 years,
Absolutely.
they are still looking as fresh.
Fresh, yes, yes, it's beautiful.
So, and apart that, this gold and silver,
Yes,
pure gold is used
okay, okay.
in the form of leaf gold
Yes,
and powder prepared from leaf,
Okay.
gold leaf. And one more thing which is very interesting, in Basoli painting we use the outer shell of beetle,
okay.
a shining beetle.
Okay, okay.
That is greenish,
Haji, Haji.
it has greenish substance on the wings,
Okay.
and we cut the wings and put in the jewelry to give the impression of emeralds. So
Interesting.
that is the only characteristic of
Visually
Basoli painting. You can easily recognize Basoli painting
Okay,
with beetle leaves.
Beetle leaves.
Mm.
Okay, okay. Vijayji, how do you and where do you see the future of Pahari miniature painting, considering that you say that now there are students and there are a few organizations which you have set up, the NGOs you have set up, but anything that you feel that when you see ahead, where do you see this art and where do you see this tradition, and what are your dreams and what are your aspirations for this tradition and art?
As far as my individual is concerned, I think I have received so many awards for my labor that I did for the revival of this art. When I was a young boy, I did not have many books to see even the paintings, but today in my studio you will find hundreds of books on miniature painting. Every year I organize special workshops in Chamba where students from Jammu Kashmir and Himachal and Rajasthan, they assemble there, they work together. Sometimes I invite some good masters painters from Rajasthan,
Okay.
so that the painters of Himachal can interact with them and
Yes.
learn from their techniques.
Yes, yes.
And I have my library open to everybody. They can consult books there. But still, whatever I did on my own as one man army. Did not get support from anywhere. I was lucky enough that I met with some good people who encouraged me to go ahead. They commissioned me to do painting for them, like Reliance, Mrs. Tina Ambani, or Gujarat Ambuja, etc. But that is only up to me.
Yeah.
What I wanted, that there must be a regular school of painting, miniature painting,
Right.
either in Jammu or Himachal, anywhere, but where people can work together with the master, and some new creative things should be there.
Okay. Okay.
There are still scope of some texts which were not painted by the old masters.
Right.
These subjects can be taken by the contemporary painters,
That's right.
and they can make series of those paintings, but who will provide them good atmosphere,
Infrastructure.
who will commission them to do all these paintings. It is a long process,
Yes.
and this requires really a great man like Sansar Chand Maharaja, who could provide every possible help to the painters to flourish this art form.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Now the last question is about you had a 4-day workshop here as part of the Chandigarh Arts and Heritage Festival, which was organized by the Chandigarh Lalit Kala Akademi. So how was the experience of the workshop, and how important you feel are these workshops for young artists?
This workshop was a good gesture, good event, that some students from the art college came to me and showed their interest in learning this miniature painting process. But 4 days period is really very short time, even then one cannot learn the how to make colors during this short period. So I believe that this kind of small workshop should be a regular feature, where at least once in 3 months, quarterly, there should be such workshops. And I feel that our miniature painting tradition is related to the texts, poetry or some religious text. But nowadays, as new trends in painting are coming, where some abstract things are being preferred by the new generation. So I feel that student can make new kind of things by taking some inspiration from old paintings, taking some motifs from the old painting, and I don't want that they should do some abstract kind of thing. There should be small format, there should be the minuteness in their work, but there is still scope that by taking motifs from old painting, they can do something new. In case of I have seen some contemporary paintings done by artists, those are working in Lahore Art College. They have taken decorative motifs or something from like clouds or vegetation or floral design, maybe some architectural edifices they have used in their paintings, and there were some good results I saw.
So you were happy with what was produced.
So this kind of trend should also, these young students should, they can do it. But unless there is a regular feature, there is regular interaction or a proper platform for working them, it cannot be possible. Some people from Europe, they come to me, they do not know, they have that much skill to make the good quality line work in the profile faces. But even then, by imbibing some decorative design, they create very good things in miniature format. So there is still scope for new things.
Thank you, Vijay. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.